My sister-in-law threw a fit when I refused to let her wear my designer wedding dress. She screamed, "I deserve it more than you. I have higher status." She spread rumors that I was jealous of her beauty. When she showed up in a cheap replica, I laughed and revealed, "I sold the original to pay off your debt." So I 28 female got married last year in Charleston, South Carolina. Beautiful place, lots of charm, but also full of tight-knit families and even tighter gossip circles. My now husband, Josh 31 male, and I had been together for 6 years before we got engaged. We're both pretty low-key people, but we saved for a long time to have a nice wedding, nothing flashy, just meaningful and personal. I need to explain something about my wedding dress first. It was a designer gown from Vera Wang. I didn't just walk into a boutique and grab it off a rack. I worked double shifts at my job, sold some of my vintage furniture, and even dipped into a vacation fund to afford it. It wasn't just a dress, it was a personal trophy, a reward to myself for everything I'd been through in my 20s. I didn't grow up with money. My mom was a single parent who worked retail and cleaned houses to make ends meet. This dress meant something. Now enter Isabella 34 female, my sister-in-law. She's married to my older brother Mark. They live in NYC, and Isabella likes to remind everyone of it. She comes from money. Her family owns property, and she went to some fancy art school up north. Everything about her is curated, her Instagram, her clothes, even her dog's name Aster. Yes, really. The first red flag came during my bridal shower. Isabella showed up in a white dress. Not cream, not blush. Straight up white. People noticed. She laughed it off and said, "Oh please," like anyone would confuse me for the bride, then looked me dead in the eyes like it was a joke only she found funny. I let it go. I wanted peace, not drama. But about 3 months before the wedding, Isabella came to Charleston to help with planning. What that really meant was criticizing the venue. It's cute, very rustic. Like a Cracker Barrel vibe, complaining about the food options, Southern food is so heavy, and mocking the playlist I made with Josh. Is this all 2000s emo? Yes, it is. The bomb dropped during one afternoon at my place. I was showing her the dress because she asked, and as soon as she saw it, her whole face changed. She ran her fingers over the fabric, made this weird humming noise, then turned to me and said, "You know, since you're only wearing it once, I was thinking I could borrow it for my vow renewal next year." I mean, I've always dreamed of wearing Vera. And let's be honest, I could give that dress the exposure it deserves. I just stared at her. Thought maybe I heard wrong. I asked her what she meant. She actually repeated it louder, like I hadn't understood the first time. I told her no. Straight up. No. That's when she lost it. Her voice got loud, shrill. She said, "You're being petty. This isn't even your style. I deserve it more than you. I have higher status. People care about how I look. You're just being jealous because I'm more beautiful." I was in shock. She literally told me I didn't deserve my own wedding dress. Then she stormed out of my house, slammed the door, and sent me a text that said, "Try to think beyond your small-town mentality for once." I didn't respond. But that wasn't the end. Over the next few weeks, things got weird. Friends in town started asking if I was okay, if I was still doing the wedding. Someone said they heard I was insecure about how I'd look next to Isabella. Another friend said Isabella told her I was scared of being outshined, and afraid people would mistake Isabella for the bride. One even said Isabella told her I had a mental breakdown over the dress. She was spreading rumors everywhere. I didn't want to give her the satisfaction of reacting, so I kept quiet. I didn't try to fight the gossip. I focused on finishing the wedding prep. Then, a week before the wedding, I got a call from a boutique owner downtown who's also a friend of mine. She said she recognized the design of my dress in another order, and that someone, yep, Isabella, had come in with photos and measurements trying to get a replica made. She told her no, of course. But Isabella had gone to another store and managed to get a cheap knockoff done. I was furious but didn't say anything. I kept it to myself and told only Josh and my mom. They were both pissed. Josh offered to confront her, but I told him not to. I had an idea. Fast forward to the wedding day. The venue was everything I dreamed of: Spanish moss hanging from the trees, warm evening air, candles lit around the garden path. People were arriving. Then Isabella walked in, wearing the replica. It was obvious. The lace was too stiff, the neckline was slightly off, and the stitching near the waist was crooked. But she walked in like she owned the place, head high, smile wide, posing for photos. Some guests were clearly confused. I saw a few people whisper. One person asked my mom, "Did she wear your daughter's dress?" I didn't react. I stayed calm, focused on enjoying my day. But I had something planned. So we're at the reception. People are sipping sweet tea and cocktails, eating shrimp and grits, enjoying the music. I'm mingling, trying to be present, trying to forget that my sister-in-law just showed up in a tacky rip-off of my wedding dress. But I couldn't ignore the looks. Guests kept glancing between us. Someone said, "Loud enough for me to hear, that's a bold move." 2 brides. Another laughed and whispered, "Who wore it better?" I smiled through it. But inside, my blood was boiling. Josh noticed it too. He squeezed my hand and whispered, "Just give the signal." I shook my head. Not yet. Isabella was working the room like it was her own damn party. She even took a photo in front of our flower wall backdrop, just her. No one else. Like it was her wedding day. She clinked glasses, threw her head back laughing, acting like she was royalty. At one point, she tried to get our photographer to do a solo shoot of her in the garden. I saw him glance at me across the room like, "Is this okay?" I gave him a hard no with my eyes. He walked away from her. And then, she got bold. She went up to the mic. Right in the middle of dinner, without warning, she tapped on the mic and said she had something to say. I froze. Josh mouthed, "What the hell?" My mom looked like she was about to launch a biscuit at her head. Isabella cleared her throat and said, "I just want to say how honored I am to be part of this family. And how flattered I am that the bride found inspiration in my style." She actually turned and looked right at me. I mean, it's not every day your fashion choices influence a bride on her big day. Some people clapped awkwardly. Others just stared. I didn't respond. I didn't give her that satisfaction. Instead, I stood up, picked up my champagne glass, and asked the DJ to play something upbeat. "Let's dance," I said, loud enough to cut through the tension. The music started, people shifted, and the weird vibe faded for a moment. But it wasn't over. Oh no. Later that night, while I was touching up my makeup in the bridal suite, my cousin burst in. "You're not gonna believe what she's doing," she said. "What now?" I asked, tired. "She's showing people your dress photo. The real one. Telling them she wore it first. That you copied her." I stormed out, heart pounding. And there she was, in the middle of a circle of guests, phone in hand, swiping through pictures of my dress, showing photos from when she secretly came to my apartment and took pics during the planning visit. She had snapped photos without asking, and now she was claiming she wore the real one first. "She's just inspired by me," she was saying. "It's fine. I don't mind. Imitation is flattering." Something snapped at me. I stepped into the circle. Calm. Steady. Looked right at her. "Oh, you're right," I said. "Imitation is flattering. But if anyone here wants to see the real designer gown, they won't find it here." I sold it. Gasps. People turned. Her face dropped. "I sold the original," I said, still looking at her. "To pay off a $12,000 debt that wasn't mine. But since I'm family, I covered it anyway." More silence. "She knows exactly what debt I'm talking about," I added. Now people were staring at her. She tried to laugh it off. "She's joking." "I have the receipt," I said, pulling my phone from my clutch. "You'll recognize the loan account. You needed it gone to get your lease renewed in Manhattan. I took care of it. Quietly. Kindly. And you repaid me by making this about you." She looked like she wanted the floor to open up and swallow her whole. But it didn't stop there. Because someone else spoke up. Mark. Her husband. My brother. He stepped forward and said, "Wait, you sold your wedding dress. For her?" I nodded. His face twisted with something between shock and rage. You told me you paid that off with your bonus, he said to Isabella. You said it was all handled. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Was she lying? One of my aunts asked. Again. People started muttering. Then my mom stood up from her table, calmly walked over, and said to Isabella, You may have been born rich, but you're bankrupt where it matters. Isabella looked around and realized something. No one was defending her anymore. I turned to leave. I'd said what I needed to say. But just as I was walking away, I heard someone shout from behind me, She's not even wearing the real replica. That's an Amazon knockoff. Everyone turned. I stopped in my tracks. Then someone else said, Wait, yeah, I've seen that dress online. It's like $79. And the room erupted. I didn't even have to look back. The noise didn't stop after the Amazon dress comment. People started whispering, pulling out their phones, literally Googling, lace wedding dress with off-shoulder sleeves, and scrolling through product listings. One of Josh's coworkers laughed and said, Oh my God. I found it, $74.99. With free shipping. Someone else added, 4 stars out of 5. Runs small, apparently. Isabella turned red, like blotchy, panicked red. She tried to act unbothered, tossed her hair, and walked straight to the bar. But people were no longer pretending. My cousin was taking discreet photos. One of my bridesmaids said, What kind of person tries to upstage a bride wearing something that doesn't even fit properly and not quietly either? I thought that would be the worst of it. I thought the drama had peaked. It hadn't. An hour later, while Josh and I were taking photos out near the water, my friend Tara ran up to me looking panicked. You need to come inside, she said. Now. Someone's yelling. I grabbed my dress and followed her fast, heart racing. And there they were, Isabella and Mark, in the middle of the dance floor, screaming at each other. You lied to me. Mark was yelling. You told me you had that dress commissioned. You said it cost $3,000. It looks like it does, she yelled back. What difference does it make? Nobody would have known if she hadn't opened her mouth. People were just watching. Frozen. Mark kept going. You said she was jealous of you. That she tried to sabotage the wedding. You made me cut off contact with her for months. And that's when it hit me. All those ignored texts from Mark. The missed calls. The cold distance. He didn't ghost me because he was busy. He was fed lies. From his own wife. I felt sick. Then Mark turned to me in front of everyone. You really paid off her debt? I nodded. The letter came to Mom's house. It was in both your names. She begged us not to tell you. He just stood there. Silent. Then walked out. Isabella didn't follow. She sat down at the nearest table, breathing hard, looking like she'd just run a marathon. Someone tried to hand her a napkin. She pushed it away. Then she stood up, grabbed a mic from the DJ, and slurred into it. Yes, she was drunk by now, fine. You all think she's so perfect. Miss Charity Queen over here. You know what? She's not better than me. Everyone froze again. She kept going. She's not some selfless angel. She got that dress at a discount. A sample sale. Not even new. Used. People didn't gasp. They just stared. Then I spoke. Yeah. I got it used. Because I'm not wasteful. And it was still worth more than that polyester mess you're sweating in right now. The crowd did react to that. The DJ wisely switched to music, Dancing Queen of all things. And people awkwardly began moving again, trying to erase the mess. But the night still had more for me. Later, while gathering my things from the bridal suite, I found Isabella's phone. Left on the counter. Unlocked. Now. I didn't snoop. I really didn't. But a notification popped up, an Instagram DM from a name I didn't recognize. The message preview said, Babe. That trip was everything. Can't wait till he's out of the picture. My stomach dropped. I opened it. I know. Not great. But I opened it. There were dozens of messages. Photos. Dates. Hotel receipts. This wasn't just some casual fling. Isabella was cheating on Mark. Had been for months. And here she was, making my wedding about her. I took a screenshot, then airdropped it to myself. Quietly. Quickly. Then I left her phone right where it was. I didn't say anything that night. Not yet. But I wasn't going to sit on it forever. I didn't sleep that night. I laid in bed next to Josh, eyes wide open, thinking about that message. That phone. The way Mark looked at me, confused, hurt, like his whole world shifted in one night. It wasn't just about the dress anymore. This woman had lied, manipulated, and humiliated not just me, but my brother and half the people at that wedding. So the next morning, I sent the screenshot to Mark. No words, no explanation. Just the photo. He didn't reply. But 2 hours later, I got a call from my mom, crying. Mark had gone straight to her house, packed a bag, and said he was leaving Isabella. He'd confronted her, and she confessed. All of it. The affair. The debt. The lies about me. Even the part where she tried to tell him I made a move on her at one point. That one made him sick. It wasn't dramatic right away. Isabella didn't scream or beg. She didn't show up at our doors. She didn't post cryptic messages online. She sued him. For alimony. She dragged it out, made it ugly. Said she sacrificed her career to support him, which was a joke. She hadn't worked in 2 years. She tried to claim emotional damages, played the victim, told her parents we all ganged up on her because we were jealous of her class and grace. Mark was crushed. He wasn't perfect. He should have seen the red flags sooner. He shouldn't have iced me out when she lied. But he was blindsided. And now he was stuck fighting a woman who was publicly humiliating him, just like she did to me. Josh wanted me to stay out of it. Let it go, he said. You already exposed her. You won. But I didn't feel like I won. Not yet. So I did one last thing. I sent her screenshots, not of the affair, not of the gossip. I sent her a photo of the dress. The real one. On a model. On the rack. Then I sent her the bill of sale. Paid in full. And I wrote, "Thanks for helping me pay off your debt." The real dress went to a woman who actually respected it. And herself. Then I posted a short story on Facebook. No names. Just a story about a bride who gave up her dream dress to help someone who betrayed her. I posted it with a photo of the receipt and a picture of me in my wedding dress, smiling like hell. It blew up. People figured it out. Some shared it. Some messaged me with their own horror stories. Some said they saw the story shared on wedding forums, bridal groups, even TikTok. Isabella saw it. She deleted her social media a week later. But the biggest twist? A month after all that, I got an email from a boutique in Atlanta. A woman saw the story. She was getting married and loved the symbolism of my dress. She said she didn't have much, but she wanted to buy the replica Isabella wore, as a joke. Said she'd wear it for a divorce party-themed bachelorette. She offered $100. I sent it to her for free. And included a note. Fake dress, real karma. As for me, yeah, I made mistakes. I should have spoken up sooner. Should have called out the lies before they got too far. I shouldn't have stayed quiet when my own brother stopped talking to me because of her poison. That's on me. Silence gave her space to spread. But I learned. And I got my peace. She lost everything trying to steal a dress. And I walked away wearing my dignity. Real, beautiful, and never on sale.